Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. I've not got very long this morning because I've got some classes, Spanish classes to teach. Those of you who don't know me, I am a Spanish teacher in my other life. Um, and I will be back on here live streaming later to talk about Erin Patterson's appeal, day 2 of her appeal. Her appeal to appeal, if you like. So Erin Patterson, the mushroom murderess, is currently in court trying to persuade 3 judges why her conviction should be quashed and she should get a retrial or a shorter sentence or whatever. But at the same time, the prosecution team are asking for her right to parole after 33 years to be removed. So that's what we're going to talk about later. But I wanted to just come on because, oh my goodness, Nancy Guthrie, another case that we're covering and we've covered, haven't we, right from the beginning? Poor Nancy, 84 years old, plucked from her bed. So the police tell us, poof, disappeared into a puff of smoke. No clues since. No car identified as being involved. Where did she go? Who took her? And how did they take her? Because we have no evidence of anything, first and foremost, but we have no evidence that she was taken away in a vehicle. But how was she taken away? So don't forget, Nancy lives in the middle of nowhere, practically in the Catalina foothills in Tucson, Arizona, very remote place. There are neighbors, but they're all detached houses. It's pitch black out there because there's no lights allowed, because it's one of those places they preserve it for light pollution so that you know so that astrologers can look at the stars and get the best view of the stars, etc. So you're not allowed to have lights on. But somebody, despite all that, in the pitch black of the night, rocked up at Nancy's door in a balaclava and gloves and, completely disguised, it looked like, and entered in Nancy's house and took her. That's what the police want us to believe. I'm starting, less and less to believe that that's the case. I don't know what happened to Nancy, but the whole thing is ludicrous, isn't it? And it gets stranger and stranger and weirder. This happened at the end of January this year. We're over 6 months on. Nothing. We've got nowhere. We've got these bogus, in my view, ransom notes. We had a hair that led nowhere that was tested. There's still genealogy, DNA testing going on other DNA that was found there. There was blood on the porch, but the mat off the porch was never taken away for forensic analysis. It's still there. Everyone's been up that driveway, the pizza delivery, the journalists, taking videos of the blood spatter that's on the porch. It's just crazy. In the meantime, this 84-year-old woman, nobody knows where she is. Is she dead? Is she alive? The alleged kidnap notes say she's dead. It was an accident. She's buried with nature, blah, de, blah, de, bloody, blah. And of course, one of her daughters is the famous Savannah Guthrie, who is a news anchor. She's also got ties to politics. She interviewed the Epstein survivors. Virginia Giuffre was one of the girls that she interviewed. And also she's spoken quite vociferously on her TV program, which is like a good morning program, about her mom recently she went back to where she was brought up and did a feature on it. Is that what led to this incident? This is where we are. I think all of you that are watching, you probably know the case. That's probably why you're tuning in, because you want to see if there's been any update. Well, no, not in the Nancy Guthrie case. But you know what's curious to me, and more all the time, is Pima County, where it's all happening. And of course, this sheriff, Nanos, the clown sheriff, he's crap, isn't he? It's just not any good. Crime's out of control in this area. There's a lot of older people out there, retired. Like, for example, near where Nancy lived, Nancy herself. There's a lot of people like that there. And there's like masked intruders wandering around this neighborhood, it feels like. There's been so much CCTV out of masked intruders in people's yards, and then there's been lots of bodies found in the desert, which apparently is a common thing. So apparently, because of the location of where Nancy went missing, it's not that far from the border. So people are saying, well, people try and come into the USA illegally from Mexico, and they get caught in the desert. They underestimate how punishing the desert environment is, and they die quite simply. I read, I think it was Jennifer Coffindaffer on X. I'm going to have a look just to check. There are thousands of unidentified bodies in county that have been found that never identified. I know that one of the body that was found recently was thought to be really ancient. One of the bones that was found since. So there's been 3 bodies found in the last couple of months. You just think, what? So, and then these people have not been identified. But, it made me sad actually to think of it, because I thought these people will be loved ones of someone, won't everybody? Everybody's got a mum and dad strange from them or whatever. These people dreamed of the American dream, to go to America and make a new life, and then they got caught in the desert, and and is somebody somewhere looking what happened to them? Post now, but I'm sure it's quite scary, isn't it? Really. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. It was a recent post. It was only yesterday. Refused to search the Sonoran Desert near Nancy's house. Over 4,000 corpses or human remains have been found there, and over 1,200 of these bodies remain unidentified in Pima County alone. Most are migrants, probably, but it is a perfect killing and disposal field. Pima County is currently looking into a death apparently unrelated to Nancy's. Why do you think sheriff searches on day 2 and won't support anyone else searching. Because that's the other thing. You know, people have offered to help it and he's refused. So it's not only that he hasn't got the resources to search the desert, he doesn't want people searching. Very strange. Anyway, so yeah, all these human remains keep turning up. And they keep saying, oh, not Guthrie related. That's how they put it, of course, not Nancy related. They keep saying these human remains that are found are not Nancy related. Okay, well, okay. How do they know if they don't know who they are? But anyway, no. So this latest thing that's happened is there's been this terrible shooting, double shooting, a home invasion, again, not far from where Nancy lived. And the 2 victims, one of which has died, very young, 23 years old, a police recruit for the sheriff's office. And the other person, his partner, who is reputedly pregnant, but I don't know if that's true or not, has survived, is in hospital, and hopefully will survive and be able to give evidence. But, and again, first thing he said yesterday, let me just read this. So, where is it? Double shooting during a home invasion in Pima County. Now, sorry, but how does he know it's not Guthrie related? The investigation has only just started. How does he know? No, he jumps in, doesn't he? He starts running his mouth off, you know, before he even knows. He doesn't. I mean, it probably isn't related to Nancy's case. Probably isn't. But the thing is, should you really, within a couple of hours, just a couple of hours of an incident like this, say straight away, before you've even caught the perpetrator? Thing is, if he hasn't caught the perpetrator yet, how does he know? How does he know? I don't understand. How can be so confident that it's not related to Nancy's case at all before he even knows, you know, what really happened? You know, I think it's another example of Nancy. He has all the facts himself, you know. Double shooting during home invasion in Pima County. So it's apparently within half an hour or 30 minutes or so of where Nancy lives. You know, for once they have actually cordoned off the crime scene. You know. But it's not Nancy Guthrie related. How they know that so quickly? I mean, maybe I'm not saying it is related to Nancy's case. Probably isn't. But do you know what I'm saying is within a couple of hours of this incident, Nanos was saying it's not related to the Nancy Guthrie case. How does he know? Anyway, as far as I know, they haven't caught the perpetrator yet. I looked this morning. I mean, this was all sort of going on overnight, you know, because I'm not in America, so it's like night time for me. Let's look at what Nanos did have to say. So we did a little press conference, a little media, you know, he just told the media to be, and told them what he knew. Well, he obviously knows more, but could tell media. And Now they've already got a vehicle. So another thing that's important, or they're working very quickly video, and that's, so forget the video. The other thing that is important, although it in the Nancy Guthrie case, no vehicle, has it? You know, she not only was Nancy stolen from her bed, if we believe what the police say, but she was transported in some magical way, maybe on a flying carpet or something, because no vehicle. But in this particular case, it only happened yesterday morning. They've already identified a vehicle of interest, and they're showing it all over the internet, asking people, do you know this vehicle? So strange that, isn't it? Nancy Guthrie case, 8 months down the line, no vehicle. This of a law enforcement officer or a recruit. He was due to graduate, if that's right, quite, within the next few weeks. He was named, his name is Carlos, I think. And his partner, who, was also shot, but he survived far anyway. In that case, within a day, there's a vehicle identified. Just odd, isn't it? Maybe there wasn't a vehicle in Nancy's case, because maybe Nancy was not taken from her house. Maybe something different happened to what they think happened to Nancy is not what happened. I don't believe she was kidnapped. I don't know why. Some monetary reason, and I don't know who by. It could be, the family's been cleared. But, to me, I don't see how you can clear anybody until you actually know who did it. But anyway, so I'm not saying that it wasn't anything to the family. What I'm saying is, as far as I'm concerned, it's an open, till the perpetrators actually caught. How can you really properly clear anybody? That's my point. So anyway, my opinion, and it is only my opinion, and it is speculation, but what else? Speculation based on the facts. I think whoever went into Nancy's house that night, porch guy, knew the house well. First, they didn't know. It was pitch black, and they didn't look like they didn't know what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They were comfortable around the house. The back doors were reputedly open. Where the blood on the porch came from, I have no idea. What were they doing in Nancy's house for 45 minutes or over 40 minutes? I've no idea. But to me, we've got a case now where there's been a double shooting up the road, and already they've identified a vehicle of interest. And here we are with the Nancy Guthrie case, 8 months down the road. No vehicle of interest. Still don't know who wrote the ransom notes. Well, we keep hoping that behind the scenes there's more going on, but is there though? I mean, is there more going on? That's what we hope, because we trust in FBI, not necessarily in Sheriff Nanos, of course, but we have trust in the FBI. We hope that they know what they're doing. They're supposed to be the creme de la creme of law enforcement around the world. Not showing them in a very good light, is it? That 8 months later, despite the fact they've got video footage, photos, they've got ransom notes, despite the fact of all the things they've got, they still haven't seemed to have got anywhere in this case. except for detaining 2 people and releasing that charge right in the early days. Anyway, the point really that I wanted to come on and talk about is who would live in Pima County? Not me. It's like crime's out of control there. You know, if even a law enforcement officer and his partner, who apparently was a correctional officer, you presume they've got weapons at home. They weren't safe. Apparently, this person just walked into their house. Maybe they left the door open. It's very hot there at the moment. So there's probably quite a lot of people leaving doors and windows open. And one of them's dead, 23 years old. That's the end of him. He's a child, and if it's partner, I hope, you know, she's still pregnant. It's terrible. So, but it's not Guthrie related, according to Sheriff Nanos and the Sheriff's Department. Even though they don't know who did it, it's definitely not related. And you know, that's just my point is, how do they know till they actually catch the person who did it? How do they know it's nothing to do with Nancy's case? You know, probably it isn't, but wouldn't it have been better not saying that just yet? Saying, oh, you know, we're investigating. Anyway. I just that I'll be back later talking about Erin Patterson. Thank you so much. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Let me know as always what you think. And until then, may your God go with you.